in Aries 18, the hammock image gives us the sense of resting, taking time off. And this is, by extrapolation, hinting at the idea that nature requires us to be awake at a certain time and go to sleep at another time, be more active in the summer, less active in the winter perhaps. And so we have the image of the hammock suggesting that we don't want to overdo things. And this certainly can lead to a dangerous condition of burnout if we do that. So to introduce rest and relaxation, not only on the physical level, but also on the emotional and the mental planes, we have to make sure that we allow the soul to recuperate, as it were, or to bring recuperation to the phenomenal aspect of our being.
Jupiter has just entered Aries 18, an empty hammock. Let me read from the Sabian Alchemy book. All life is rhythmic, and our personal long-term well-being and effectiveness depends upon our ability to find and practice whatever rhythm works for us. It is as inappropriate to be constantly active as it is to be constantly inactive or passive. Failure to understand this leads to a poor condition of life. All living things vibrate. Struggle and surrender are life's clear message. Tuning in to natural rhythms. Two equal and opposing forces exist: pure impulse and conditioned response. So, this is the third degree in the expression of attainment within the scene of potency, which is the second half of Aries. So, let's see. We were just in Aries 17, two prim spinsters, and previous to that, we were in Aries 16, brownies dancing in the setting sun. So brownies dancing in the setting sun, that's very active. Two prim spinsters, passive. An empty hammock. So in this situation, we have a hammock set up, and we know hammocks are a place to relax in, to be passive in, but it is empty, as if the person is currently being active. So it's a person who is sometimes active, is sometimes passive. And this is a reconciling of these previous two degrees. We have, in this life, there are times when we need to struggle to be active. There are times when we need to surrender, to be passive and accepting. And neither one is really any better than the other. The Buddha talks about the middle path. After trying multiple spiritual modalities, he landed on the middle path because we can't go too far off of what our nature is. We came to this earth to have a human life, and we kind of have to be open to anything that life throws our way. If there's a situation where you need to be active, if you say you've taken a vow of inaction, let's say, you're not going to be able to live the full life that you came to this earth to live. And Jupiter in this degree, let's see, how would Jupiter feel to have to reconcile these things? I think there would be a sense of relief that Jupiter doesn't have to be in this prim spinster world too long. Jupiter, in my opinion, favors brownies dancing in the setting sun, but Jupiter is a planet of wisdom and philosophy. So Jupiter is going to realize that we need both. One of the tenets that Socrates talks about with philosophy is that philosophy is the preparation for death. You also hear that with meditation being the preparation for death. So I think Jupiter would like that aspect. That would intrigue the philosopher of Jupiter. So this is sort of a learning phase. We have our Jupiter project that we're working on, and we have to learn that there's going to be some days where you get up early, you work on your project before work, you work on it after work, maybe you stay up till midnight, but you can't exhaust yourself. You have to also think about, what are your boundaries? And that's what the two prim spinsters represents, is those boundaries. So we've got a clear saying yes and a clear saying no. And with the empty hammock, it's developing a mastery to say either, depending on what the situation calls for. And that's really going to help us with this attainment. It's really going to help us regulate ourselves to achieve potency. And after this degree, we move into the magic carpet. It's like the expression of attainment. We're working towards having an understanding of how to engage in spirituality. The hammock, we've talked about a motif of fabric, starting with Aries 15, an Indian weaving a blanket. And we saw this as an Indian weaving a blanket, taking the cosmic order in as threads, weaving the blanket together. Now we're manifesting the cosmic order into the physical realm. And then with the brownies, you see the fibers of the blanket, the very infinitesimal fibers are spiritual beings that are dancing to bring this world into existence. The prim spinsters, a spinster is also a weaver or a knitter. The hammock, it's loosely knit, which shows it's been knit just enough to support a human being, but not much more than that. With the magic carpet, it's going to be knit even tighter. So that's going to be us actually not only being able to have our physical body held as if by the hammock, but lifted off the ground. And that's when our spirituality is really raising. And that's going to be a great moment for Jupiter in this expression of attainment.